won on it's a Saturday night here, Columbus, Ohio. Probably already heard Nick Walker, 27 years old, just won the Arnold Classic. Very, very convincing victory. Very convincing. Milos, we just did a wrap up. He said he won the minute he set foot on the stage. It was dominating. The other guys were excellent competitors, but Nick Walker just blew it out of the water today. Just massive. He is a mutant. He's a mutant. Just so massive. He made me a believer today. I went live earlier and I said, I don't know about top three, guys. I thought top three was a little too much to expect out of Nick at his first Mr. Olympia, which is coming up in just 2 weeks, because I said, he would have to beat, obviously I don't think he's beating Rami yet. A year or two from now, who knows? But I said he'd have to beat Hadi Choopan and Brandon Curry, or he'd have to beat one of them at least to get into the top three. And I didn't know if he was capable of that. I didn't really see it. I'm a believer, man. I'm a Nick Walker believer, man. And I had never seen him stand next to the level of competition he stood next to today. New York Pro was a good show. This was a much stronger show. The Arnold Classic it's almost as good as the Olympia. It's just a step below the Olympia. So for him to win this on his first attempt, and he just turned 27 last month, man, he's just a kid in this game. So some surprises. Ian Valliere in second place. I only say surprise because I got the score sheet. I don't know if you want how much of that you can see, but Steve was actually ahead of Ian in the judging today after judging. And that was kind of evident in the final call out of the judging, which was Nick Walker and Steve Kuklo. Ian was not in that call out. It wasn't a three-man call out. It was just those two. But I tell you what, Ian filled out. Ian's condition was spot on earlier, but it was a little flat in the judging. He came back to the finals 7 hours later, significantly fuller. It definitely put him ahead. He got ahead of Steve Kuklo. Second place, Ian Valliere at the Arnold Classic. That's pretty damn good. So once again, Ian beat Steve just like he did in Texas. Third place was Steve Kuklo. Steve looked really good. He was huge, really full, and surprising because I know he was down a few pounds from the Texas Pro where Ian had out-conditioned him, had edged him out on condition. So he did go for better condition. It just wasn't enough, unfortunately, today. But you know what? He would have had to win this to go to the Olympia anyway, unless they extend a special invitation to him, which I don't think is out of the realm of possibility. During your coverage, thank you. Nick was awesome. Yes, everyone else seemed off. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say others were off. Nick just overwhelmed. He's so massive, and he's so wide. I got his weight. We did an interview that'll be up in probably about an hour or 2 hours on this channel. But I asked Matt and him, what he weighed today. He was 248, and he's going to be, or 248.4, and they said they're going to bring him in at exactly 246 for Olympia. He's going to be a little bit tighter. He's going to be better. Fourth place, Justin Rodriguez. Not really surprised because the first call out during judging earlier today was Nick, Steve, Ian, and Justin. I was a little concerned that either Akim Williams or Sergio Oliva was going to get ahead of him because they were comparing them. They had Justin, they pulled him out again, and they were comparing him to Akim and to Sergio Oliva Jr. I say, okay, I figured out you can just look that good. Yeah, he did. He looked great. Akim, a little bit off. He was one of my favorites to win. And, on paper, he was the person here who's placed highest at the Olympia, along with Steve. Steve's been sixth place at the Olympia, too. But, he was definitely a favorite going in. Missed the mark a little bit, ended up in fifth. Let's see, I thought Sergio was top four over Akim. Akim looked hella off. Yeah, this wasn't the best Sergio either, though. Sergio wasn't as sharp as I've seen him. He wasn't as sharp as he was last year when he got fifth at this show. He got the Best Poser Award, so he picked up an extra $10,000 for that. He did put on a really good routine. So that was fixed. So Akim was fifth, Sergio was sixth, and I actually have all the other placings. So in the Open, seventh went to Mohamed El Imam from Russia, originally from Egypt. I was just in the elevator with him. He's going to finally shut it down. That was his sixth or seventh show this season. He's been competing since April. Akim looked better than his Olympia showing. Think he would have challenged Nick? He would have challenged him. I still think Nick would have won. Nick was... I'm becoming more and more of I was already a Nick fan. I already believed in him. I just thought it was going to take him longer to get to this level. I didn't think he was going to get there that quickly, and he's doing it. Hopefully Sergio does less talking, more competing. I'll get into that. So 7th place is Mohammed. Who got 8th place was Max Charles. Max did not get overlooked. Max actually did his own prep. He wanted to try doing it himself this time. I don't know if it would have made any difference if Milos or anyone else had prepped him, got him a little tighter. Really not liking his varicose veins. What are you going to do? Can't do anything about those. 9th place, Hassan Mustafa from Egypt. Now, I think he's in the U.S. for good. I don't think he's been back to Egypt all year since he's come out here to start training for the shows. Hassan looks good. He just needs to get tighter, man. He needs better conditioning. Got all the size in the world, Hassan. Steve didn't get robbed. No, I don't think Steve got robbed. No. I would have. I don't think Ian would have got robbed if Steve had beaten him. It's not like either one of them. I don't think Ian blew Steve Kukla away by any means, but he definitely out-conditioned him for the finals. He was a little fuller. I agreed with that. And so that was 9th was Hassan. And 10th place, which unfortunately was last place because there was only 10 people, was Sung-Chul Lee from South Korea, who looked pretty good. He's well on his way. I think he needs to get some more shows under his belt, get a little more stage time, work on his presentation, show a little bit more confidence and condition. Needs better condition. Let's talk about Classic Physique. Classic Physique, not too much of a surprise because Terrence Ruffin was 2nd place to Chris Bumstead last year at the Olympia. So the only person who's beaten him recently was Chris Bumstead. And obviously Chris isn't here. Chris will be at the Olympia defending his title, going for title number 3 in Classic Physique. He did edge out Alex Cambronero. It was not a blowout. Alex was the defending Arnold Classic champion. Alex looked really good, man. Ian is not complete. Calves are essentially, looks like bikini. No. You know what's funny? If you saw the stream, you saw at one point in his posing routine, he stood up on his calves in one of the rear shots to show that his calves aren't as bad as everyone says. Are they like Steve Kuklo calves? Are they, Eric Fankhauser, Ben Pekulski, Paul DeMeo, Mike Matarazzo calves? No, but they're not as small as you guys say they are. Nick lets his body do all the talk. Yeah, Nick looked great. So Terrence Ruffin, Rough Diesel, he won. Did not get Best Poser, though. Best Poser went to Logan Franklin, who was in 3rd place. So it was Terrence, Alex, 3rd place Logan Franklin. Logan's routine, man, I assume they're going to have a replay on the webcast. Go back and look at that routine. It was phenomenal. Congratulations, not go. It was going to be not going to be a cakewalk for Olympia. No, he's not going to have an easy time at the Olympia at all. Olympia is the toughest show in the world, man. It's the best competitors in the world. 4th place was Courage Opara. Looked good. He's a little on the narrow side structurally. He's not as wide as some of these guys, so I think that might hurt him a little bit, but still. 4th place, this was an excellent lineup. Brian Jones in 5th place was a little bit of a surprise to me because he was one of my favorites going in. Condition was a little bit off, man. He's got the most beautiful shape, tiny little waist, wide shoulders, biceps peaked up to here. Crazy physique on Brian. Just need a little bit more condition. I'm sure he'll be at the Olympia in 2 weeks. I would imagine he'll tighten up for that. Most guys get better when they show up not at their best. Nick will. Nick will be top 5. I don't doubt that for a minute that Nick will be top 5 at the Olympia. If you look at the lineup, there's some great competitors, obviously, but man, Nick's well on his way. Top 5, yeah. Unless something goes wrong with his prep or something, which I doubt, because Matt Jansen, he's got that shit on lock. I don't see that happening. I think he's going to be doing great. So he was 4th. 5th place went to, Brian Jones was 5th. 6th place went to Austria's Fabian Mar. I would have probably given that to Peter Molnar from Hungary. I thought Peter looked phenomenal. I personally had him ahead of Fabian Mayer. So let's see where I'm not even sure where he placed. This is the first time. So this is the scores for Classic, the final scores. Probably do a screenshot or screen capture that later if you want to really study it. So who was 6th place? I wonder if it was Peter. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. So Fabian Mayer was 6th place. Who was 7th? Danny Unin. Yeah, Danny looked good too, man. Danny's the reigning New York Pro champ. 8th place in Classic was Peter Molnar. Yeah, I mean, I could have had him a couple slots higher, really. I would have had him as high as 6, probably. So that was 8. 9th place was Tony Tavares from USA. And 10th place was Jarek Crew, who had pink hair. And facially, Jarek reminds me of Robbie Robinson. It's very similar. Almost looks like his long-lost son. It would be his son, I guess, because Robbie's like 80 years old now. Yeah, I think Robbie is like 80 years old now. Anyway, so that was that, and Logan picked up Best Poser Award, $10,000. Not too shabby because we all know Terrence Ruff and Ruff Diesel is he's one of the greatest posers we've ever seen. But man, Logan had a crazy routine, crazy routine. My wrap-ups with Milos, I didn't talk about other divisions, so let me do that. Bikini champ Jen Dory from Canada, I had her winning in the judging, but because they all look so great, I thought the top three, top four, or top three especially, were very, very evenly matched. I would have had a hard time saying this woman definitely deserves to win this one. I think that's the hardest division to judge is bikini. They're all beautiful, very similar bodies. Jen Dory from Canada picked up the win, beating the reigning Olympia bikini champion, Isa Piccini from Brazil. You don't see that happen too often. You don't often see an Olympia champ in any division get beat at a show like that, especially leading into Olympia, which puts Jen, who was Jennifer, second last year, right? That puts her in a really good spot to win. Third place, not too surprising, Lorelie Chapados, who's won a couple shows already this season. Fourth place, Ashley Kaltwasser. That was a little surprising because she's three-time Olympia champ, four-time. She's one of the greatest bikini champs ever, obviously. Fifth place, Romina Basualda. Sixth place, Brina Martinez. They were all beautiful. No surprise, really, with the fitness, women's fitness. Missy Truscott, who is the defending Arnold champion, also the reigning Olympia champion, had a phenomenal routine, of course. Come out with these giant angel wings. Dedicated her routine, her prep to her coach, John Meadows, who unfortunately passed away too young a few weeks ago. Missy beating Oksana Grishina, who was she had 3 or 4 times. Sorry, I don't always know the exact amount. She beat Oksana Grishina, who had a great Joker from that movie Joker inspired routine. I loved her routine. I thought it was very creative. But Missy just did so many damn flips, and oh my God. Third place, Ariel Kadir. They say Kadir. Bob always says Ciccarello says Kadir. I'm not even sure that's the way to pronounce it. It's Khadr. So I don't know how you would say that. She had a great routine, of course. She's a little nugget. She's like 5 foot, 5'1", which, as a vertically challenged man, I appreciate that. Jacqueline Baker from New York in fourth. Orica Turgel, fifth place. Darian Borello in sixth. And now I'll get to some of your questions and comments before I go out looking for a pizza by the slice place on the corner. So, I need another. Okay, I can see all the comments now. Okay. Nick Walker's the best symmetry. How far back do I want to go? Nick. I'll go back as far as, let's see. I'll read this. Steve didn't get robbed. That's the last one I remember. Does who have a speech impediment? I don't know who you want to know has a speech impediment. No one that I know of. Also Hassan, this is from, God, I can't read the print. Ronnie B. Music. Also, Hassan really needs to get the gut in check. Yeah, I agree. He's got to really watch that midsection. It's getting distracting. He needs to control it, keep it sucked in all the time. He was like 5'7", 285. So just massive, Hassan. One of the biggest people I've ever seen. Ian is not complete. Yeah, we said that. Steve was robbed. I don't know, dude. He wasn't robbed. He didn't. It's not like he was a clear beating Ian clearly. Freddie Torres, congratulations to Nick Walker, but it's not going to be a catwalk for Nick Walker. Stand by the other guys on the Olympia stage. I believe Nick Walker will win top 3 at the Olympia. Logan Franklin top 3. That would be a huge step up for Logan. He did his first Olympia in classic physique last year and got 9th place. He was very disappointed. Logan's got a hell of a physique, man. It's reminiscent in some ways of Arnold Schwarzenegger, believe it or not. Steve faded at the end. Yeah, agreed. Facts. Ian calves are non-existent, lacks quad separation. He could have better quad separation. His calves could be bigger, sure. Nick's back was shredded AF, which is as, I don't think I can say the F word on YouTube where they don't like that anymore. Nick will crack top 5 at Olympia. I agree. I see that happening. Peter Molnar ignored. I agree. I think he was overlooked. I wouldn't have had him in 8th place. I would have had him a couple slots higher than that. Steve was Ronan's. I don't know what that means. I think you were trying to say robbed, and for some reason you must type Ronan a lot on your phone, and it filled that in for you. Steve's wife losing it at the end during the webcast was embarrassing. I didn't see the webcast. Maybe I'll watch the replay. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of odd having Amanda doing the commentary because she's obviously got a huge emotional investment in her husband, Steve, competing. Bink's cat Nick has chiseled stone abs. Yeah, that's, Milos always brings that up. A lot of guys don't really train their abs anymore, or don't train them much, I should say. And like Steve has shallow abs, Steve Kuklo doesn't have those thick brick, like ravioli type of abs. And, in certain shots, obviously like the abdominal and thigh, you need that to stand out. If you have shallow abs, it almost makes your condition look bad because it looks like your abs aren't that detailed, when in fact you just need more thickness to them. Logan wasn't wide enough, but Terrence I don't think should have won either. Yeah, I mean, you could certainly make an argument for Alex Cambronero to win. Who is the most overlooked in your opinion? In the Open, I don't think anybody was really overlooked. I would say in Classic, it was Peter Molnar. I think everyone got a fair look, so it's not like, it's just I would have had him higher. I thought he had Nick Cleary had the best genetics. He is a mutant. A mutant in the true sense of the word. Let's see. Freddie Torres, congratulations to 8-time Mr. Olympia. Ronnie Coleman, Lifetime Achievement Award, well-deserved, absolutely. Yeah, and he got emotional at the end because his mom passed away a few years ago. And, he would have liked to have been able to share this with his mom, but she didn't make it. Big fan of Ian. Where do you think he'll rank in the Olympia? He was 7th last year. If he can get 6th, that's a step up. I don't foresee him getting any higher than that based on the competition. It's a tough show. I mean, think about all these guys going to the Olympia. I have been Trafor, I think you wanted to say fan, 35 years and never seen a 27-year-old as thick and hard, 270 pounds of pure muscle. He was actually 248 and 23-inch arms. He probably does have 23-inch arms. I'll give him that. Even Ronnie was not like Nick at 27. Yeah, Ronnie didn't even start competing until he was 27. I don't know if you guys realize that. Ronnie got into the sport a little later than a lot of these other guys. How good will Ian do at the Olympia, you think? I think 6th place. What did 2nd place get? How much money? Off the top of my head, I don't know. 1st place got 130. For some reason, I wrote down Steve Kukl got 50, so I'm going to guess it was probably like 70 or 75 probably for 2nd place. Don't quote me. Did Missy win? Yes, she did. Saint Nick, he's not a saint. Missy's flips are next level. Yeah, I mean, dude, she flipped at one point in her routine. I think she did like 30 flips in 10 seconds or something. It was ridiculous. Best genetics, best symmetry ever. What else? Now you guys are ripping on Ian. How did Ian get 2nd with a sunken chest? He could certainly have a better chest. I wouldn't call it sunken. Sunken is really harsh, guys. Where'd it go? Where did I lose you? Someone just said, Nick, love the dedication run. Thank you. Nick dominated that lineup. I agree. Nick, Missy, win or no? Yes, she did. Nick posted Ozzy Osbourne on Crazy Train. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, some guy, nobody should be posing to like slow music. Some of the guys in Classic and some of the guys in the Open did that. And dude, you want to get the crowd on their feet. You want to get the crowd excited. Slow music does not do that. Crazy Train, good choice. Why didn't Arnold talk to Nick? I thought that was kind of odd too, but he wasn't doing the interviews. He didn't do the interviews with anybody tonight. It was Bob. Normally normally Arnold, I'm losing all the comments where they go. Normally Arnold does the winter interviews with everybody. It's been a tradition at that show since it started, I think. I don't know why Arnold didn't do it this year. Maybe he couldn't stand very long because he had a boot on. He strained his Achilles tendon chasing his llama around the house or something like that. Nick will win the Mr. Olympia 9 times in a row and break the hex. I hope so, man. I'm wondering who's going to beat that record. And Phil was on his way, and then Phil's not going to win 9 Olympias now. I'll tell you that. There's no way. He got 7. I don't think he's ever going to win an Olympia again. Yeah, he walked off stage. Brian Jones overlooked. No, he was off. He was a little bit off. I think he'll tighten up for the Olympia and do better. Arnold couldn't believe 27 years of war and looked 10 times better than Arnold or anyone 27. Even Rami, Phil, or Holly Dixon not like him at 27. Yeah, and he just turned 27 last month. I found out. I asked him what his birthday was. So he's going to be 27 for almost another year. I Am Bodybuilding YouTube says Nick looked amazing. I definitely see him top 5. He'll be battling with Bonac, Hottie Brandon. Yeah, yeah. I don't see him beating Rami, but I think he's going to give all these other guys a run. Quality down from previous eras. I mean, there have been better Arnolds, sure, but this was a pretty damn good lineup. Big Ron Harris, yeah. I mean, compared to these guys, no, but for a 52-year-old compared to the average gym rat, sure. Do I think Nick would have beaten Bonac? If Bonac looked the way he's typically looked when he's won the Arnold the past 2 times, or when he's second the Olympia, no, I think Bonac would have beat him. I only say that because Bonac has a lot of things that Nick doesn't have yet. Just the fine details, the seasoned look to the muscle, the tie-ins. You know, Bonac is great. Bonac's a great bodybuilder. I don't know if you guys realize that. Maybe you don't. But I think, let's see. I thought, congratulations to Missy. Wow, you guys have a lot of comments. When was the last time someone in their 20s won? Nick can be around 20 years. 75K he got, Steve, Ian, I guess. Oh, man. Okay, so I lost it. Justin Titan's mixed springs quad separation. He's unbeatable. He's not unbeatable, I'm sorry to say. No. If he was close to unbeatable, he'd be winning a lot of shows. He just won his first show. Justin's very good, don't get me wrong, but, you know, don't be ridiculous. How would Walker stand next to Rami? He won't be outmassed by Rami, you know, but Rami is significantly taller and heavier. So I still think Rami's got him for now. Definitely not a good look from Steve's wife. I watched Prejudging. It was a rough broadcast. Arnold was just randomly talking. Cedric kept getting cut off. Yeah, I think they had too many people doing the commentary. You got to keep it. You got to limit that to 2. Last time someone in their 20s won the Arnold, Nick can be around 20 years. Nick is 27. I'm not sure. One of the youngest, if not the youngest winner. Oh, training 35 years and never seen. Yeah. Marvin, after top 3 at the O is anyone's guess. Rami had Brandon and possibly Nick, but Nathan, James, etc. So Ian could be 7th. It all depends on how the others turn up. True. Nick is a phenomenon we're waiting for. Congratulations to Missy. Martin Brandon. I thought Steve beat Ian on this one. Matthew, Arnold made unflattering comments about Nick all night. And then also said he couldn't believe Sergio was in the top 3. For a 7-time Olympia champ, he knows nothing about bodybuilding today. Yeah, Arnold doesn't really cater to the standards of today. He's got his own opinions. He's got his own ideals and standards, and it's not really in line with how things are judged right now. But he's Arnold. He can have whatever opinion he wants. It's his show. Steve's wife, that's Amanda, came off rather unprofessional. Sounded a bit desperate when it came time to accept husband's fate. I can imagine. I mean, it was just really awkward having her there because she's obviously loves her husband to death and was pulling for him to win. So what would be the future of bodybuilding? Nick, Hottie, Reagan, James, Hunter, all of them. All of them. I love seeing all these young guys coming up who are awesome because clearly we can't have a bunch of 40-plus-year-old guys carrying the torch too much longer. A lot of these guys are going to be leaving the sport soon. Nick looked good, but I think Bonac would have beaten him. I agree. I'm a big fan of Brian Jones. What do you think? He'll place the O if he came with his best package? He could do as high as, I mean, you got Robert Timms, you got Breon, you got, of course, Bumstead. I don't know, man. Top 5, if he makes top 5 again, let's say he moves up to 4th, I think that's a really good step up. Because, I mean, Alex Cambronero was 4th last year, and he was 5th. But, I mean, Alex beat him today. So, I don't know. Olympia ever coming back to Vegas? I do hear it's coming back next year to Vegas, to that Planet Hollywood. Bonac, easy win if there. I think, yeah, at his best, he would have. That's from Orlando Gardner. Nino Brown, no one is unbeatable. Agreed. I've seen so many people over the years who at one time or another, we all thought were unbeatable. And eventually injury or something or someone better just comes along eventually. You know, I always thought Ronnie was just unbeatable. He got beat eventually. Arnold wouldn't shut up and stop complaining about everything. Like I said, he comes from a different era. Arnold, that's the last comment I'm going to answer. Arnold comes from a different era, so yeah, he likes what he likes. He doesn't like a lot of the things that are going on with the sport. He doesn't like how a lot of the guys don't practice their posing, and they shit when they pose, and they don't hold their poses. He likes flatter midsections. He doesn't like to see guts. You know, he's Arnold, whatever. Anyway, guys, so the coverage of the Arnold Classic was brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. Thank you, Jared Wheat and High Tech, for making it possible for me and the crew to be here. Hector, his assistant Consuelo. I want to thank the MD team behind the scenes who helped upload photos and did all that stuff. Jen Geraci, my buddy Chris Griffin, Dave Boudin, Mike Cox was on there. Giles Thomas was helping out with the play-by-play. The whole team. Thanks to everybody. Thank you guys for watching these videos and supporting the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff, guys. We appreciate it. Wow, it's coming up on midnight, guys. I'm going to go get a couple slices of pepperoni pizza because there's nothing else open. This is Columbus. Everything's closed, but there's a pizza place on the corner. So, thanks, guys. Appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.